Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream Park on a beautiful Saturday morning. It is Curlin, Florida Derby Day. Ron Nicoletti along with Acacia Clement. And what a day it's going to be. 10 stakes, 14 races. I think 750,000 in the late pick 4, late pick 5, and the Rainbow 6.
We've got plenty of opportunity for you to get involved today. It's going to be a spectacular day of racing, as Ron mentioned. 10 stakes. There's a couple of really nice maiden special weights on the card as well. We'll go through all of them and hopefully give you a little bit of good information. But really excited, as this is always a marquee event of the championship meet, and we wrap it up in style.
Yeah, so I said $750,000 in the Rainbow 6. We'll tell you a little bit of that. There it is, $750,000.
Starts in race 9 today, by the way. Don't forget.
Race 9?
Yeah.
Race 9 through 14. I love when this happens because Acacia and I, if you go to our office, we're using our fingers all the time to figure out when the
pick 4s today as well. The ever popular middle pick 4 is back. And here's the guarantees: late pick 4, late pick 5.
Yeah, so lots going on. And, of course, Beat the Expert Day in Brian's. And the final one. This is the final one. We'll talk all about that throughout the afternoon. And talking about Brian, now that we put an early pick 5 ticket together, so let's quickly take a look at it.
He did. Brian taking a stab at the early sequence, $72 play, going all in the first race, which is on the Tapeta. I think that's a wise decision, as I was all over the place in that opener. A really strong turf allowance, a very competitive race for the Florida Breds in race 2. He's 3 deep in there, sprinting. The first graded stake of the day is the Orchid. That comes in race 3. He's got 3 horses with Harajuku, Beautiful Lover, and Family Way. 2 horses in the 4th race, that nice maiden special weight I mentioned, Quality G and Bandamere, and then a single in race 5, which is the Cutler Bay with the 5 main event, who was so good last time out.
Yeah, main event trained by George Weaver, so we'll see how that plays out. All in here in the first race, as Acacia alluded to, is about 1 mile 70 yards on the Tapeta. Claim is 4 and up, $10,000. Scratch the number 6 horse. I didn't know what to do in here, and that's why Brian went. We're almost in agreement. I went with Mystery Bank, the 9, who's stepping up to face open claimers, broke from the outside to defeat those 3 lifetime foes. Solid late charge. Hey, I'm going to play the percentages here with Arad Ortiz and Saffie Joseph Jr.
That usually works out pretty well for you. Now, the thing about this horse is, you even mentioned it, he's one of non-winners of 3 last time out, and he's stepping up to face open company today. To me, that is really the biggest jump in racing, going from those condition claiming to open claiming today. But he won nicely last time out from an outside post. He's got the outside post again today. I took a little shot against him with the 7 Farley, who I think that last race, it was just kind of a too bad to be true type of performance. 2 starts back, he ran really, really well. Jose Ortiz climbs aboard for Antonio Sano. They've been a very potent duo together. And this one has some tactical speed, too, so I'm hoping he can use that to his advantage.
Yeah, and the other horse we used was Buffalo Max, turning back slightly after finishing 3rd behind that hard-knocking horse, Rocket Joe Copper, going a mile in the 16th on the all-weather. Let's go to race number 2. Really nice allowance here for allowance optional claimant for state-bred 4-year-olds and up. It's going to be on the turf at 5 furlongs. If you're just joining us, the turf is firm this afternoon. I went with well, let's start with your horse in here, the number 3 horse, Richie.
I had a really tough time with this race. And to be honest, Richie almost seems like he's kind of a Tapeta lover, so to speak. And he is one that I think is going to be stalking, sitting a good trip. However, last time out, he was 2nd in the Gulfstream Park Turf Sprint behind Yes I Am Free, who came back to win another stake after that. That horse has just been absolutely dominant on the turf course here for Laura Casares. So this horse obviously can run well on the grass, too. Maybe he is a notch better on Tapeta, but I do think that he can handle the turf. I also think he's going to get a great trip in here, given how it could be a relatively quick pace, and he's well drawn to go the 5 furlongs.
I had some interest in the number 8 Granger County, who won a back-to-back turf winner here last year, returns to the grass, and responded in that first race after the claim by Bobby DeBona with that 20 starter allowance victory, going 6 on the main track. So I'm just keen off those races last year and running well now, proving it by winning on the Tapeta. You're getting Louis Sayers in the saddle this afternoon, so I thought that was a logical horse. Try and get, I don't know what it is, if he's the morning. No, he's about 5 to 1 on his 4th choice on the morning line. So trying to get a little price in a wide open race.
No, I agree. It is. My only question with him is that those races that he won on the turf were against softer company than what he faces today. I think he meets much tougher in this field. So for me, it was just about the class. But look, he certainly could be in that perfect kind of right up close stalking trip. I think the real wild card of the race is the 5 Mai Tai one on for Jane Sabelli. We haven't seen this horse since June. He drops in class. He hasn't faced Florida breds in quite some time. He's the class of the field. Is he ready off the bench?
And you know, the funny thing is, Jane is really good with this type of layoff, about 21%. And this horse here is a 5-time local turf winner and just seems to run well for Jane when this horse comes back. You make a great point about Florida breds. And then you use Ghost Liner, as I did, who's stepping up, duel throughout, and finished second as the odds-on choice last time out.
Yeah, that was a third-place finish last time out. Had a little trouble at the break as well, but he does have speed, and I think will be forwardly placed.
Our first stakes of the afternoon, 1 mile and 1/2 on the turf, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. It is the $150,000 Grade 3. It is the Orchid, and you guys, a couple of different ways you can go in here, and you started it off with the number 7 horse in here, Family Way.
Well, we'll take a look back at the Grade 3, the very one, last time out, as the top 3 horses that we both have are coming out of this race. Beautiful Lover in 4th that day, but the 2nd and 3rd place finishers are Family Way and Harajuku. I thought Family Way ran a huge race this day. She is up on top of the pace. Virginia Joy, who won for Chad Brown in the Peter Brandt Silks, closed from off of it, whereas Family Way had to make that first run and then kind of flattened out a little bit, but she did manage to hold on for second and kind of re-engage. I thought it was a huge performance from her because Virginia Joy came from off of it. 3rd place finisher there was Harajuku. Beautiful Lover had actually set the pace that day, and she ended up finishing 4th. I don't think we're going to see the same kind of pace scenario for these today, but I thought all the horses coming out of that race really ran well and were huge players in here.
Yeah, you just put them all different ways in here. I did go with the 2 Harajuku. The Irish bred is stretching out to the 12 today. Pair of sharp outings. We showed you one going a mile 3/8, which includes that nose defeat to Superstar, always shopping in the Via Borghese, and you saw her there, Family Way in the very one. I think this one sits behind the speed today, so we'll see how it plays out.
She could. I thought personally, I thought Family Way ran better last time out and was off of a layoff, but you bring up a great point. I mean, I think any of these horses could move forward depending how the pace does shake out in this spot.
We'll go to race number 4 this afternoon. It's about 1.70 miles on the Tapeta. These are maiden special weight 3-year-olds. Scratch the 1 Allegorical. Also scratch the number 6 horse in here, Winston Blue. I went with the number 5 horse, but let's start with your horse in here, Braille, who gets LASIK and blinkers today.
Yeah, this horse is actually a pretty good price on the line, 12-1 actually on the morning line too. But Shug McGahee has very strong numbers, second time out adding blinkers on, and that's what this one will do today. Ran an okay 4th on debut at Aqueduct back around Cigar Mile weekend. He's stretching out in distance today. I think that's what he wants. He's out of Texting, who is very, very good on the turf, but they opt to keep this one a run on the Tapeta today, and did have a work on the Tapeta too for Shug McGahee. I thought was really interesting. I thought this horse had a big license to move forward with the changes.
Yeah, I got it. It's highly rated too. I don't think we'll get to 12-1. I'm hoping we do, but the number 5 Quality G is where I went. We got our try a little flip-flop. This one is stretching out around 2 turns on the Tapeta after rallying to finish third, in his 6th furlong debut on the Tampa main track. I'm just going to key off that performance and see a little bit of guesswork how this horse will run on the all-weather.
I did not like that first race from him at Tampa. I know he finished 3rd, but he was closing outside. He was kind of hanging late on his left lead. He was really kind of throwing his head up. He was fighting the bit. He seemed like he's maybe a grinding type that the distance will help him well. Visually, I did not think it was an impressive performance at Tampa. The 2nd place finisher, Vive Bien, came back and made his first start for Safi in the next start and absolutely crushed the field. Saw another horse come out of this race, though, who didn't run well for Todd Pletcher. So we'll see how things do pan out, but I think the distance will maybe be the key for him. But a horse I'm really intrigued by, Ron, is Hall of Dreams, and wanted to show his last race at Woodbine because this is his first start for Mark Casse. The horse that beat him that day was actually a Mark Casse runner, Golden Glider, who won an allowance and then ran in a graded stake, 2 back-to-back graded stakes. From an outside post, he's the number 12. I thought he ran a huge performance to finish 2nd this day. He has a little bit of a layoff here, but he ran really, really well and was run down by a very talented horse that afternoon, and we know he likes the Tapeta.
You know he likes the Tapeta. Of course, that's the Woodbine version of the Tapeta. And it's tough to win from post 12 here. I think I would imagine it's the same there. So that horse ran exceptionally well. Put that one on my ticket for all the reasons you just shown. Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon. And this is a 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. It is the $100,000 the Cutler Bay, and Brian Single in here was the 5 main event, but you did go with Red Danger on top of your ticket.
I did. I'm trying to be a little creative in here. We'll show the Palm Beach, with which both of these horses do come out of. Last time out, a couple come out of here, but looking at the two who really, I thought, made the biggest impact. Main event finishing second in this spot. Red Danger ended up finishing 4th. Red Danger's in the pink colors, the number 9 that day. He was pretty wide the whole time. He got shuffled back, I think, further than he likes to be. But main event ended up finishing second to Coinage. This horse ran a huge race, and it's really, I think, a huge step forward for him since he switched to the turf. Can he keep the momentum going after those 2 big efforts? He's in between horses. Big effort there. Coinage just able to run him down, who's full of talent. But I thought the 2 coming out of the Palm Beach were the biggest players.
Yeah, you know, main event, as you just showed there, stretching out to the mile of 16, rally to come within that neck. So that's where I went. And the little difference we have in here with the 2 Smoking Tea I used in second, who was beaten 2 lengths on the turf by that repeat stakes winner called Grand Sonata. That was in the Dania Beaches, going back to the grass. He drew clear to defeat those 75 optional claimers. That race was moved from turf to Tapeta for Shug McGahee, and you're getting Javier Castellano handling that surface switch today. And once again, I think we have the logical ones up there. The number 8, Red Danger. I spoke to Brian Lynch, and I said, Brian, what are the odds that you broke from the outside in 3 consecutive turf races?
Yeah, he hasn't exactly had the easiest time of it. It's a compact, rather more compact field today. Hopefully he gets a good trip. I think the wild card of the race is Graphic Detail, who tries the turf for the first time. He's well bred. He's by Practical Joke. And this is one who, speaking to Bill Mott, he said, you know, they're trying to figure out where he belongs because he did disappoint in his last 2. They really thought that he was going to be something special, but getting some more distance and trying the turf, he's moved over the turf well in the mornings at Payson Park, so I think he's intriguing.
Yeah, Bill Mott on the turf, you got to take a second look. Absolutely. So really competitive and a nice race there for race number 5. We got lots of stakes action today, and we'll continue in race number 6. 1 mile and 1/8 on the fast main track. 4-year-olds and upward. It is the grade 3. It is the Ghost Zapper. Did have an early scratch in here of the number 2, Laughing Boy. And I love the fact that you have this horse on top, Capo Costello. Take it away.
Yeah, this is my long shot play of the day, 10-1 on the morning line for Fausto Gutierrez. Came off of a layoff. He had really strong form over in Panama when trained by Alberto Paz Rodriguez, who we got to know actually pretty well when he ran horses over here in the Clásico del Caribe. But he ran into a couple of really talented horses. Highest honors came back to win on the turf for Chad Brown, had a ton of backclass, and Olympiad went on to win back-to-back graded stakes and is the superstar for Bill Mott. He ran 4th that day. I thought he ran okay. I thought he needed that race, and I think you have a stat to back it up to see if this one will move forward.
Yeah, I looked it up, and I'm going to tell you what this one is. Layoff of 61 to 180 days. You got to write this down. Roots in the dirt. He's 8 for 11, 73%, 82% in the money, and he's got a $5.70 return with the $5.70 return of investment over the last couple of years. So this is his game here this afternoon. And Capo Costello, I'm not going to get into too much with the name there, but being Italian, I don't want to take any chances.
Say
but,
like that.
Yeah, but boy, fearless. Has just been, run into a horse, Speaker's Corner. So Fearless is stretching out to the 9 furlongs, closed to finish second behind Ultra Fast Superstar Speaker's Corner in both the Grade 2 GP Mile and the Grade 3 Fred Hooper. Note the last time this gelding tried the distance, he finished second in the Grade 2 Oaklawn Handicap. I just thought he was up against it. Nobody was beating Speaker's Corner.
No, nobody was beating Speaker's Corner, that's for sure. He won the Harlan's Holiday going 1 mile and a 16th, and I still actually actually really thought that the mile at Gulfstream was kind of what suited him best.
Right.
I can understand it. This is the opportunity, the mile underneath the Go Sapper today. It certainly makes sense for a horse like this, and he's a massive horse. He's so big, 6-year-old son of Go Sapper, and he certainly continued on and run quite well, winning the Harlan's Holiday back in December. Speaker's Corner, as you mentioned. I think he's the one to beat in here, but I thought it was potentially a good race. If you have some questions about the favorites, are they really going to be a lock in here? Capo Costello was a nice alternative for me. And then what do you do with Greatest Honor?
That was, I was just going to ask you that, because the 4-5, 5-4, I understand. After that, sort of wide open, we flip-flopped. I went with the one Commandeer, and you did go with Greatest Honor. I don't know what to do. This horse has so much back class.
He's got a ton of back class. I spoke to Jose Ortiz yesterday, too, and he said that they went into that race at Tampa last time knowing that he really needed it physically and mentally off of the layoff. And Jose also thought that he didn't really handle the track very well. Tampa could be a little bit of a quirky track, and he said they know he loves Gulfstream here for sure. Won the Fountain of Youth and Holy Bull last year. So he has that foundation underneath of him, but he was really in a perfect spot last time and just didn't really do any running.
I know a trainer we both respect and love is Jimmy Toner, and he has Commandeer, has been working a hole in the wind since failing to fire, and that was in the Grade 1 Pegasus World Cup. I just keep going back to those works. Tyler Gaffleone, son of Street Boss. I'm interested to see how that horse
Yeah, I
runs.
am too. I'm really intrigued by this horse. He had to face Life is Good and Knicks Go last time out. These horses are nice in here, but they're not Life is Good and Knicks Go.
Want another stake? We'll give you one right now, and that is a mile and the 16th on the Fern Turf course. Phillies and mares 4 and up. It is the $100,000 the Sand Springs clean slate.
And this is where the middle pick 4 starts.
Oh, it starts in race time. See, without Acacia, I'm lost with that middle pick 4, but it is very popular, so make sure you search it out today. Let's start with your 4-horse in here. Crystal Cliffs, the French bred, who does his best running from that stalk. Is that it?
And that's it. I think that there's enough pace in here. You've got Traffic Song, who I really like and really wanted to put on top. You've got Grand Ave Girl. You've got Stolen Holiday. I think that there's going to be a pretty honest pace, and Crystal Cliffs is going to come from off of it. She has the layoff to contend with today, but she ran really well, even second in the Regret, back in looking at her back class behind Harvey's Little Goyle, who's super talented. She does have to, again, close. She has to be ready off the bench, but she faced some very nice horses last year and the year before.
Well, I did put the number 1 Traffic Song on top of my ticket, who's making her stakes debut after using her speed to defeat a trio of next out winners. That was that 25 optional claim, but right here at the distance for Jimmy Toner. Just talking about him a moment ago. Jose Ortiz, inside speed threat. Inside speed on this turf course has been good. If you can get out there and not get hounded. Now, there is other speed in here, so that is a bit of maybe a problem for the number 1 Traffic Song. And maybe you go with like the 4 Crystal Cliffs. But I'm going to hang my hat on the inside speed this afternoon. And I love the way that Jose Ortiz has been riding this track.
Yeah, he certainly has. He's done very, very well since coming down here. And I loved this horse 2 starts back. You remember, he was 18-1 and just got nabbed where she was. But last time out, she took pressure too. Drifted a little bit, was getting a little leg weary in this stretch, so I like that they've freshened her up since January. She didn't come back too quickly after that race. Thought it was a big performance. She will rematch with Stunning Princess, though, will face Bleecker Street at Tampa in the Endeavor, who is a superstar for Chad Brown. Got a 94 buyer speed figure in her next win. But this one could potentially just sit the stalking trip.
Yeah, the horse loves Gulfstream turf. 2 for 3 on there for Danny Gargan with Orad Ortiz Jr. going to take some money in. And back to Traffic Song when it was 18-1. We are roommates in our little office, Dan. She was whining the whole day after that horse lost. So,
I was. So sad.
Let's go to race number 8 this afternoon. This is the penultimate race before the Rainbow Six this afternoon.
It's our favorite word, if you couldn't tell.
It's the only big word I know, and I use it all the time. 8th race, 7 furlongs, maiden special weight, Phillies, 3-year-olds, big full field of 11 in here. And let's start it off with your horse in here, the number 7, Inviting. Oh, I had a little further down on my ticket.
Well, this horse had some trouble first time out. She had to debut going 7 furlongs at Gulfstream, which is not an easy thing to do. She kind of broke okay, but everybody else outfooted her a little bit, and she was squeezed back and completely lost position early on. She ended up parked wide. She never got to save any ground, so the blinkers go on. I expect that'll mean mean that we're going to see a sharper break from her. She's going to be a little bit more forwardly placed. Huge pedigree, as is to be expected with this Phipps homebred. The second dam is Pleasant Home, who won the Breeders' Cup Distaff. So going the 7/8 once again should be no problem for her, and now she has that foundation.
Yeah, and you did the right thing. You look for a price in this race because that's the way it goes. But I did end up with the favorite in here, Frippert, who's stretching out to 7 furlongs. Had that awkward start last time out to finish second. It was her 6th furlong debut. Jonathan Thomas, what a meet he had here. He's 24% with horses stretching out, well, making their second start, I should say. And the stretch out is not that much from 6 to 7. So I thought Frippert, after everything was said and done, was the one maybe to beat in here. I went to the outside with the number 11 horse in here, Easy to Love, who couldn't be working any better in preparation for her career debut for Mr. Bill Mott. Lasix, Joel Rosario, outside post, a concern. But Bill doesn't usually work them this fast up there. And this horse has just been working lights out over the deep Payson Park training track.
You usually don't see workouts that fast from anyone. This is the half-sister to Luke's Alley. I just didn't know what to do with her. She could be really intriguing, but I've heard that the number 4, Wish You Well, has been working very strong at Palm Beach Downs as well. This one sold actually at the Fasig-Tipton Gulfstream sale, which we just had, but this was last year in 2021. She worked 10 flat that day for filly by American Freedom. She's the half-sister to Chanteline, multiple stakes winner, graded stakes place. There's a big pedigree here. This filly looks like she's going to be ready to roll for George Weaver.
Yeah, and I would read the owners, but we do not have enough time. I'm just looking down here.
Oh, there's a lot.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow Six ticket.
And they're off. Second in the 2-path. Ground by first inside. Racing. Last of the 12 as they roll into the backstretch.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Acacia, about 10:50 a.m. And we're going to start the Rainbow Six, believe it or not, in race number 9. It's a mile and a half on the turf. It's the 4-year-olds and up. It's the Grade 2 Pan American. But first, let's check my ticket. I'm not changing anything today. $43.20. 3 deep in here. We'll talk about this race in a moment. The 10th race is the Sir Shackleton. I think Forton Hill and Quick Tempo are the logical 2 in there. Then in the Sanibel Island, which is race number 11, Mischievous Kiss, I think is, well, actually is my best bet today with the 9, My Filly Twirl. Everybody in America, probably but me, is going to be singing Kathleen O, I think, in that 12th race, but I used Goddess of Fire from Todd Pletcher. And then in race number 13, my long shot today is the 2 Scarlet Sky. Got a couple of other horses I'm using there. That's another wide open race. And then in the last race, did use Charge It, Simplification, and White Abarrio.
I like it. 43.20. All is right in the world.
43.20. Yes, $750,000 gross jackpot guarantee. We'll tell you about this in the lightning round, but tomorrow, mandatory payout. Just keep that in the back of your head. We'll tell you more about it later on. As I mentioned, a mile and a half on the turf, 4 and up, $200,000. It is the Pan American, a Grade 2 event. No scratches, jockey changes. You went with the number 5, Aban.
And this horse, if you watch back in the McDermott, he had a nightmare trip and was completely taken out of his comfort zone, completely taken out of contention. He usually has quite a bit of speed. It's very dangerous. He's a really quirky horse, too. He tends to just drop Luis Saez in the post parade consistently, but I think he's really gotten to know this horse very well now, and he loves these marathon races. So I think getting back to, he loves this turf course. Gufo is the class of the field. He's coming in his first race since the Breeders' Cup. This is a prep for the Man of War, and so you wonder, is he going to get the pace to run at? You have to time it right with him. He's a tricky horse to ride, but he is the class. We'll see if Bond gets the trip.
Yeah, Bond's the speed of speed. He looks like bounce back, as you mentioned. You know, he won that. He had that 3-race win streak, including the victory in the McKnight. It's 12 furlongs. Got to talk to Todd after, you know, those 2 of those victories. Just by coincidence, he won both of those that day. And you're absolutely right. You know, out of the gate, you lose with this horse. He's got to be up there in the front. So we'll see how it goes. Gufo, I think you got a replay you want to show?
Yeah, this is his win in the Grade 1 Sword Dancer back at Saratoga, where he beat some very talented horses, including Japan, who had come over from Europe, and this was a huge win for him. Now, they put the blinkers on last year when he ran the Grand Couturier back in July as well, and Christophe Wilmot saying that the blinkers have actually made him almost a little too aggressive sometimes. So the blinkers come off today, and now as he's a 5-year-old, he's gotten a little bit easier to kind of respond, and the blinkers had been a change last year to get him to act a little bit sooner when Joel Rosario asked him, but nobody knows this horse better than Joel. And like I said, the timing is key for Gufo. He's such a cool horse to be around, and so we'll see. Hopefully this sets him up for a nice year.
Perfect 3 for 3 on the Gulfstream turf. So the old horse for course angle. The number 6 Temple is stretching out to the 1.5 miles after driving score. That was an 11 furlong Grade 2. McDermott the last out. For Mr. Mike Maker, Jose Ortiz returning on the son of Temple City. Been right there. Good horse. Always going to be right there.
He got the trip last time in the McDermott where Bond did not. But as you mentioned, this is a horse that Mike Maker reclaimed as he loves these marathon turf races, and he's done quite well with them.
Let's go to race number 10 this afternoon, and this one is 7 furlongs, 4-year-olds and up, 100,000. The Sir Shackleton, and this is where Brian put together a late pick 5, pick 10, 11, 12. Yeah, late pick 5. There you go.
He's singling in the first leg of the Sir Shackleton with the 1 Forton Hill. We all think is going to run a huge race today, coming back second off the bench. Big spread in race 11, which is, I think, a super competitive race, and you need some coverage in there. That is the Sanibel Island in race number 12 today. He is also too deep, not singling Kathleen O either, but also using Goddess of Fire. Big spread in the Appleton. That, to me, was the toughest race on the card about as far as who was going to get the win. And then 3 horses in the Curlin, Florida Derby.
Yeah, $108 for Brian, getting back to the Shackleton, as I mentioned at the top, 7 furlongs, 4-year-olds and up. And you got Forton Hill, you got quick tempo in here.
Yeah, these two coming out of the same race, and we'll take a look at this last performance back on March 4th. Now, this was first off the claim for Carlos David for quick tempo. He set the pace, and he certainly did have a quick tempo that day, just ran away from the rest of the field. Now, he's going back into deeper waters today, and he could have some pressure in this spot. Forton Hill is a bit more of a grinder. Speaking to Bill Mott, he said he really thinks that the extra furlong is going to suit him well because he was running late, going 6. 7 is really going to be much more to his liking. He's now second off of a huge layoff. He hadn't run since August of 2020, came back in March of 2022 and ran like this. You'd have to imagine he's going to take a step forward.
Yeah, you know, and Bill Mott, if he's on the horse, so am I. I mean, I think Forton Hill, you saw that Brian singled it. I had quick tempo for all the reasons we've shown, stretching out, responded. That was the first race after the claim. They jumped in and grabbed this horse for $62,500.
Yeah, and it paid off. They got a big win with him last time out. Like I said, stepping into face tougher today, but he does have that speed, which is dangerous.
Oh, I didn't know you had the number 4 Wayburn on top of your
do.
ticket. I didn't know what to do with this horse. I'm glad you did because I almost put this horse second.
Well, this one is he's in off of a layoff. He faced as a 3-year-old the absolute toughest of the division. Hot Rod Charlie, Essential Quality, Mandaloon in his races back in 2021, and he gets back today to 7 furlongs, which I love. He's actually the half brother to Yorkton, who I believe, I'll have to double check, but I believe he won this race, the Sir Shackleton as well. But he was a good dirt sprinter, 6-7 furlongs, and I really think that the cutback is going to be key for this horse. Jimmy Durkins does a sensational job, but this one makes his first start for Brendan Walsh, and we'll see as the shorter distance goes today.
What I also liked about this horse, you look last year, he returned from a very similar layoff, because
Yep.
that's a concern, and he wins the Grade 3 Gotham. That's that 1 mile race. But I thought off that, and you just mentioned, you know, and the two trainers you mentioned are fantastic. So I'm interested. I'm glad you did use that horse in there. That is the number 4 Wayburn. Let's go to race number 11 this afternoon. 1 mile and 1/16 on the turf. These are the Phillies 3-year-olds, and this is the $100,000, the Sanibel Island. We did have a scratch in here of the number 5 horse, and as I mentioned, Mischievous Kiss is my best bet of the day, stretching out to the mile and the 16 after returning from the layoff to finish that screw tightening third in the Grade 3. Here comes the bride. I thought I saw you give out the trophy in that race. Trainer Bill Vaughn as Joel Rosario top, previous stakes winner at the distance. I think that race sets this horse up perfectly today.
Yeah, she was a good third that day. I think Spenderella is very, very talented, and she's not back in today. A good one beat her that afternoon, Mischievous Kiss. She won the Chelsea Flower back in November at Belmont, going a mile and a 16th. She gets the other 16th of a mile today, second off the bench. She was really just caught. She could have been second that day. She was just caught by Opalina, who was closing well that afternoon and has some class as well. I think that she's certainly the one to beat in this spot.
You went with Chad Nation in second.
She was so impressive first time out. Everybody really thought, I remember sitting on the desk watching that race and saying, wow. And speaking of the connections, Christoph Coman, I said that it was almost like there were really no options of where to go next, and ran her back a little bit quick there in the Chelsea Flower, and she didn't fire that afternoon. She was actually the favorite that day. So step back, gave her a break. She's been training really sharply, coming back into this race today, and we'll see if she's ready to fire off the bench. She will be running late.
The number 9 horse in here, My Filly Twirl, is making her stakes debut after posting back-to-back victories over the local turf, including that victory at the distance last time out for Brendan Wall. She's got Julian Leperoux going for the hat trick this afternoon. So once again, the old horse for course angle.
And I think she'll be a big part of the pace. She'll be forward. Her last two have been very, very strong. Now she steps into stakes company for the first time, but it's the logical next step.
Got a little bit of a long shot to get some interest in, and that is the 7 Hail to, a full sister to 2.6 million Ernest Sadler's Joy. Makes her local debut for trainer Tommy Albatrani. Finished second in that optional claimer, going a mile and a 16th on the Tampa turf. Tyler jumps aboard, regally bred. I think there's a half brother to this horse running a little
Wolfie
later.
Steinicus.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Wolfie Steinicus. So this one's a full to Sadler's Joy. Tommy Albatrani, 12 to 1. Throw this one on your truck.
Yeah, hey, I certainly agree. She's got some ability, that's for sure, and obviously the breeding is there to be good.
Race number 12 this afternoon, 1 mile and 1/16 Fillies. These are 3-year-old fillies, $250,000. It is the co-feature event of the afternoon. It is the Gulfstream Park Oaks, a Grade 2 event. We've been talking about Kathleen O. So let's show you Kathleen O.
Yeah, this is kind of just a window dressing because she was so impressive this day to win the Devona Dale. But we'll take a look at the start. She actually got off a little bit slow from the inside post, and you don't see that in the short comment. She was inside at the back. She didn't really look comfortable early on, and when you see her take over and pull away from the rest of the field, you can see how much dirt she actually took coming from off the pace as well. I thought that this was a real kind of learning race for her, a really educational performance when you see how much dirt she took in her face and how easily she just pulled away. She's got to get the distance today. That's the question as she goes 2 turns for the first time, but she hasn't done anything to suggest that she wouldn't be able to handle it.
Yeah, it's just so impressive in that race. And, you know, Javier Costello going for the 4-peat on the daughter of Upstart. Goddess of Fire, you saw both Brian and Acacia, of course, have used this horse in second, debuting locally after finishing, I thought, a real well-meant second. That was in the mile and the 16th, Grade 2, Rachel Alexandra at the fairgrounds for Mr. Todd Pletcher. Louis Saez in the saddle again.
And it's interesting. I think she's been well managed by Todd Pletcher. Her first race was pretty slow. She went into the Pocahontas. She was third that day. And then from where she's gone from there, you could see they're kind of picking spots very carefully, because I don't think that she's quite up to the level as maybe some of the other 3-year-old fillies in the division, but she's certainly been placed in the right spots, and she did come out of that second last time out. We know off of that race she can get the distance. That's what she has on Kathleen O, but I just think Kathleen O's a better horse.
And after that Well, you go wherever you want to go in here. I went with Cancel This. You went with the 4-horse in your running Legacy. It's a wide open affair after Kathleen O'Connell. Let's go to race 13.
Kathleen
I had O'Connell to it.
Great trainer, though.
How about Kathleen? What a great year she did.
She certainly did, yeah.
Race number 13, 1 mile on the turf. 4-year-olds and up. It is the $100,000. This is the grade 3, the Appleton. Full field of 9 to kick off the first leg of the late daily double. I'll start in here because Scarlet Sky is my long shot this afternoon, making his 4-year-old debut. Look and recapture the form he displayed last year when coming off the bench to finish second here in the Palm Beach and win the grade 3 Transylvania at Keeneland. Shug McGahee training should sit the garden spot today behind. I see a lot of speed in this race.
There is plenty of speed in here for sure, and never surprised, just wired the field last time out and just kept going. So there was no chance for a deep closer like him. But he's run some really good races for sure, and I think has really stepped up to the plate after maybe a little bit of a slower start for Shug McGahee. It's funny. This is my best bet, actually. You don't have it all. That's how competitive this race is. English B, who was third in the Canadian turf last time out behind Mira Mission. And to be fair, I thought, yes, he was a little bit flat that day, but I thought we were going to see really the perfect stalking trip from him today. He's not one that needs to come from too far off of it. He's going to be right in the garden seat. He's going to sit right behind the speed. You've got Phantom Currency, Carpenter's Call, Safe Conduct, certainly Wolfie's Dynaghost. All those horses do their best running when on the lead. Louis Sias is going to have English B right there, just waiting to pounce.
He's the guy you want, too. But talking about Phantom Currency, the 7th is making his first start. He used his speed to go undefeated on this course last year. He had a bit of a problem. I talked to Brian yesterday about that. That including the victory in the grade 2 McDermott. He's also concerned maybe it's a little short for this horse this afternoon, but the 6-year-old, boy, he said he couldn't be training any better.
Yeah, you could certainly see that on the Palmetto's turf course. And this is a horse that's got plenty of class. He loves it here at Gulfstream, as you mentioned, 2 for 2 here. The layoff, yes, it's about the 13-month layoff, and this is a little bit shorter, but you'd have to imagine this is a good starting spot for him to have a good year coming up.
I'm going to have to go back and look at this English B, and I'm seeing it's second choice on the line. I don't have it anywhere this afternoon. So
this is the long shot race, the Nicoletti long shot race.
Yeah, exactly. Let's go to race number 14, the feature event, the Curlin Florida Derby. Let's give you the statistics. What we need to tell you about this: 1 mile and an 8, 3-year-olds. $1 million, full field of 9 in here. And this, you see both of us with the number 6 Charge It. I did my analysis. I had Charge It. I said, Acacia, who do you like? He goes, Charge It. I go to Brian, who do you like? Charge It. I said, uh-oh, got to carry the 3 of us.
Ooh, and Seth Murrow, too, apparently. So, Charge It's got a lot of weight to carry. The good thing is he's a pretty big horse, so that's helpful. Yes, it's a step up from a maiden special weight right into the Grade 1 Florida Derby. Todd Pletcher has won this race 6 times. He's looking for his 7th today, which is just incredible. Charge It, I really loved what I saw from him first time out. Volcanic was just a horse that had more foundation for Mark Casse. He had run as a 2-year-old. We saw Charge It absolutely dominate last time out in that maiden race. To me, the most impressive maiden winner we've seen all winter. He's got to go, and the 9 furlongs on the pedigree should be absolutely no problem.
Yeah, he just was so impressive in that race. And to be perfectly honest, I was looking for a little bit of a price. I don't know what we're going to get with this horse. 7-2 on the morning line. But number 3, Simplification, was impressive coming off the pace to win the Fountain of Youth. Should see that same pace scenario that afforded him that much the best score last time out for Antonio Sano. They thought this horse was a speed horse. He broke bad in that race. They came from off the pace, and he showed a new dimension.
Yeah, that was on the Holy Bowl 2 starts back, and Antonio Sano said that his heart sunk at the break. And then last time out, he sat off, and he circled 6 wide, and he just absolutely swallowed up the field. Now, we'll see. I think we'll really get to see today just how good Simplification is. And I know we're all rooting for him. He's kind of the house horse. He's a Florida bred, and we've seen him all along throughout his career. But it's such a cool horse. Won the Mucho Macho Man, 2nd in the Holy Bull, won the Fountain of Youth. You don't like Classic Causeway at all today. I think that's tossing him is a certainly way to get some value in this race. We'll show you his Tampa Bay Derby win. He comes back relatively quickly after just winning on March 12th, and Brian Lynch saying that instead of trying to ship him to Kentucky, stay here, stay home, and I guess we won't show the Tampa Bay Derby. But anyway, he won that very impressively. He was like a rocket out of the gate, and then he just finished up, and at 4-5, it was never in doubt.
Well, here you go. Let it roll here, and we'll see the Tampa Bay Derby.
Well, this was a huge performance, as I was saying, Ron. It was never in doubt. Now, the question is that his first race at Saratoga, which was incredibly impressive, he and My Prankster were the two, I think, best 2-year-old winners of Saratoga last year, and both of them have gone on. My Prankster is a sprinter, this one on the Derby trail. But the question is that his buyer speed figures from Tampa and the Sam F. Davis and the Tampa Bay Derby don't actually stack up with some of the ones that he faces today.
That's what I did. I did figures, and I just thought he might be a little slow. But there's also make a case he didn't have to run that fast to win those races. I don't know what he was facing up there. I mean, that's Tampa Bay Downs. The horse has been very impressive. If he wins, I'm out, but somebody will be in. Now, what do you do with White Barrio, who defeated Simplification in that aforementioned Holy Bull, stretched out the 9 furlongs? Safi Joseph Jr. is the leading trainer here. This horse missed that work.
He did. He missed the last work. He actually worked on Tuesday coming into here. As far as hearing from the connection, Safi Joseph Jr. said things are back on track. He's doing well, had a little bit of a setback. But this is a horse who all along was pointed to the Florida Derby after the Holy Bull. The Fountain of Youth was never in consideration for him. I think that the pace dynamics did change in the Holy Bull as we saw Simplification miss the break. Mo Donegal was flying late and just really needed some more distance versus the mile and a 16th. Once again, this is a day where we'll get to see just how good these horses are.
Well, it's in Todd Pletcher we trust for us to charge it, but what a great race. There's 4 solid horses that could win this race that I would not.
Other fringe players who could grab some pieces at a big price.
Yeah, you know, I keep going back. My 4th pick is Papa Cap. And, you know, I just think that, you know, and I know you talked to Mark Cassie, and they don't know what happened in that race. He was so impressive winning here.
He was very good as a 2-year-old. I think the question is, was he just precocious? Did he go on as a 3-year-old? What are we going to get to see from him? The Lecomte was a very good effort. Disappointing in the Risen Star, but Epicenter, I would say, is probably at the top of the 3-year-olds as of right now.
Yeah, I mean, he's the one that they're talking about that going in as the favorite right now until after these horses run in the Florida Derby.
Yep.
And then that'll be the favorite going into the Triple Crown. Well, that's it. We've seen it, but we're not done. We got a lightning round to talk about here very quickly before we turn it over to Pete Aiello.
Absolutely, and as Ron mentioned at the top of the show, on Sunday, the final day of the championship meet, there will be a mandatory payout in the Rainbow Six 11-race card, so make sure you tune in for that. Estimated over $5 million. I think it'll be well over that for sure.
You know, we had a visit from John Velasquez, Hall of Famer John Velasquez. He was here for a good cause. He was signing bobbleheads, but he left a lot to be signed. So you can come out and get him today, and it's such a great cause.
That's right, $30. It goes to the Permanently Disabled Jockeys Fund. So make sure you come out. You can still get your bobblehead today and support a great cause. Thanks, everybody, for making it possible. Signed by Hall of Famer John Velasquez. Yesterday as well was also a big day in the Stronach 5 Overlay City. And this is why. I mean, 2,700 for that low 12% takeout.
Yeah, and that 9-horse was Brian's, best bet, a long shot, and they only paid $980. But look at those prices, and you get 51 tickets actually paid $2,700.
Congratulations if you had it today as well. Just a reminder, guaranteed pools, late pick 4, late pick 5, $750,000. We hope that you'll join us and play all of the action on Curlin Florida Derby Day.
Yeah, we're going to turn it over to Pete Aiello now. We'll be back this afternoon. You, me, and Brian Nadeau.
The Thoroughbred Aftercare Alliance is really the vehicle for the transition for our racehorses coming off the track into a second career and safe environment for these horses when they're done racing. I've been passionate about racehorses my whole life, animals in general, and without the TAA to provide that oversight, there would be a big void in terms of making sure that we have this ongoing safe environment for our off-the-track racehorses. I'm excited about the undertaking and excited about working with our board and our team at the TAA to continue the wonderful progress that has been made. So I'm very excited about what the future holds.